Welcome to the video. My name is Ariane. I'm a healer and life coach. In this video today, I'm going to be talking about reintegration. We're going to talk about what reintegration is, what part of your healing journey it will need to be involved in, and if we're actually doing the healing properly in a way where we are reintegrating, or if we're kind of stuck in one place and we feel like we're not able to move forward. So I'm going to cover some things in this video to make sure that you get a clearer understanding from the beginning of when you would have an emotional wound and to the end of when you can actually heal that emotional wound. But before we go into the video, I want to bring your attention to an online course that I'm doing at the moment. In this course, I'm going to teach you how to heal your emotional wounds. I'm going to teach you what trauma is, what your thoughts are, what your feelings are, trying to give you a much broader understanding of how you work as a human being and what you need to do and the tools in order to be able to do it so you can heal yourself without needing any other external assistance. Healing is a lifelong journey thing. It isn't something that we just do in one moment and that's it. So this course is going to give you the skills to be able to repeat what you learn for the rest of your life. I'm going to stick a link to that course in the description. I also do host meetup events, and in these events, the online workshops and online meditations, all of these are free. If you want to join that, again, I'm going to put the link of that in the description. So, reintegration. What is reintegration and what part of our healing process does it come into? So reintegration is essentially the completion of healing an aspect of yourself. We have experiences in our lives where our survival mind kicks in. Now, when the survival mind kicks in, this creates two aspects of us. If you want a much deeper understanding of aspects and what they are, watch my video, What Are Aspects? Healing the Emotional Wound. I'll put a link of it up here in the corner and in the description as well. Now, at the time of trauma, when we get these two aspects of ourselves, what we do is we take on one aspect and we put the other aspect somewhere we don't have access to, which is our subconscious. The reason we do this is because one aspect is going to keep us safe in the moment, and the other aspects carries emotions and feelings that we don't necessarily want to feel in that moment. This is how our mind and body protects us and keeps us safe in those moments. This is actually a very normal way a human being works. This isn't like you're not capable of handling a situation, so therefore you're like this, and someone else might be able to handle it, so they wouldn't react like that. This process of creating aspects is something that every single human does. It's very, very normal for a human to work in this way. To get a clearer understanding of what trauma is and what happens in that moment, again, I'm going to link another one of my videos, What is Trauma? You can find that in the corner of the video, and I'm also going to put it in the description. So we've taken one of these aspects on and we've put the other one in the subconscious. Now, our mind only works on complete life experiences, and that experience is traumatic for us. And the definition of trauma is distress without resolve. So it's an experience that has had no resolution to it. So it's not a complete life experience. So what the mind and body does is try to resolve it, tries to get it, make it become a complete life experience. So what it does, it pushes this aspect up from our subconscious, the one that we put on our subconscious, pushes it out of our subconscious to our attention. Now, this is what we actually call anxiety. This is what anxiety is. Anxiety is not an emotion itself. It's a mask of a suppressed emotion. The suppressed emotion is the emotion that that aspect is carrying. Now, what we tend to do is we don't know necessarily what's going on and we don't like feeling those emotions. So we push that away. So this is why whenever we get anxiety, we distract ourselves or we numb ourselves. We can either distract ourselves with social media, binge watching Netflix. We can distract ourselves by going out and doing something, going to parties, going on nights out. And we can numb ourselves by having weed or, alcohol, or even we can comfort eat, which kind of distracts us and numbs us out as well. Anxiety itself is your mind and body communicating with you, trying to get your attention to tell you that there's something there, something that needs your attention in order to be reintegrated. Now that reintegration is what the mind and body is trying to get you to do in order to make that experience a complete life experience. So reintegration is the end goal of healing a single traumatic experience. Now, remember I said anxiety is your mind and body's way of communicating with you that there's something there. Our feelings themselves aren't just something we feel and that's it. It's actually the communication of what emotional wounds we have. Now, anger is also a communication of what emotional wounds we have. Everything that happens to us in this life is neutral. The reason why we feel the way we do to the experiences that we have is because of the meaning we're giving to it. So for example, if let's say there's two gardeners and a rainy day. Now, one gardener might see the rainy day and really love the fact that he doesn't have to go to work because he doesn't like his job and he's doing okay with money. So he's happy that he's got the day off. Now, another gardener might see the rainy day and he might really love his job and he might not be doing that well off with money. So he needs to make as much money as he can. Both people, both gardeners, would look at that rainy day experience and give different meanings to it. Therefore, they would feel different. One would feel happy, the other one would feel annoyed, sad, frustrated. Now, the rainy day itself is neutral. It's only the meaning we give to the experiences. So the reason why we would have anything like we would feel angry if something happened to us is because it's to do with a meaning that we've given to a similar experience in the past and what we've let that to mean. So if someone does something that may seem disrespectful to us, it's a repeat of something that's happened in our past and we've given a meaning to what that means to us. So if it's disrespectful, it might be something that we experienced as children where maybe our caregivers did something similar and we felt that we weren't good enough. So that action made us feel like we are not good enough. So now someone in our adulthood would do something similar that would trigger that feeling of I'm not good enough. The reason why we feel that feeling is because in the moment where it happened in the past, that's where the split occurred. That's when our survival mind kicked in and created those aspects. So the trigger of that happening today is getting our mind and body to push that aspect of us out of our subconscious to bring our attention to our emotional wound that needs healing. So the end goal of this is to reintegrate. Now, the way we would heal these emotional wounds is by doing shadow work. The human shadow essentially is the part of us that we don't know about. We don't know what we don't know. We don't have access to the subconscious, which is why we put these aspects in there. So what healing essentially is to explore the subconscious, is to find out what we don't know, where these aspects come from, what memories we've had in the past that have created these aspects, and heal, i.e. reintegrate them. Now, there are many ways to do shadow work. There's scripting, there's inner child work, there's parts work. The awareness itself is very key. Most of your healing in each of these experiences is the awareness itself. Now, these aspects that are in our subconscious are lacking of need. And we used the example of anger earlier. If you have any anger always 100% of the time has fear under it. Now, if you look at the emotional chart and in there, you can see the level of vibrations of what emotion carries. You'll see that anger is actually above fear. So what we actually do is we use anger as a way to raise ourselves from fear, because anger actually feels better than fear. The reason we do this is so we wouldn't feel fear. Now, we can use anger and resentment as a way to meet a need that's unmet. The reason we would feel that fear in that moment is because there is an unmet need. The way we would heal that aspect upon the reintegration is to validate the aspect, is to start learning and start meeting the needs of that aspect. Therefore, we can let go of the resentment, let go of the anger, feel the fear, and reintegrate that aspect. Because in that moment, we give meaning to that experience. The meaning may be, I'm not lovable, or maybe I'm not good enough. And that's an unmet need. So we would use self-love to meet that need, because we have to be completely accepting of ourselves, accepting of all of these aspects. Self-love and awareness is the key of being able to reintegrate. Now, these aspects aren't necessarily all going to have the same need, or it's not going to be the same experience that's created them. So this is why through self-love and unconditional acceptance, we're able to create that reintegration, because we're able to be open and give ourselves anything we need. Now, reintegration itself is to essentially get to a position and a stage where we're undoing that split. When we unconditionally accept that aspect literally comes in. So we've always, let's say, felt angry or felt anxiety, and we don't like feeling those. So what we do is we actually push those feelings away. And this is how we distract ourselves and numb ourselves out. When we do that, we're pushing these aspects away. The way we heal is to do the exact opposite, is to bring them in. This is where self-love comes in. So by bringing them in and reintegrating, we're actually undoing that split in the consciousness. So those aspects that were split into two now reintegrate, and that split is no longer there. Now, there are definitely instances where healing may seem in different ways. You can have like energy healing. You can have healing where aspects will essentially just feeling the emotion is enough. But the bigger traumatic experiences that we've had, and especially our core wounds, definitely need awareness. And I want to make this very clear that if we are not aware of the situations and what's happened to us in the past, and if we are not meeting the needs and inviting those aspects in, we are not reintegrating, we are not healing. The awareness itself is about 80% of healing an experience. So if you're just doing energy healing, or if you're just getting Reiki and exercising and just doing everything else other than exploring your inner self, feeling your emotions, going through your emotions, going through into the human shadow and finding out where these aspects were created, when they were created. And if you're not meeting the needs of these aspects that are trying to get your attention, you're not necessarily going towards the direction of healing these aspects. To heal is to go through your emotions. Your true happiness is on the other side of your pain. These aspects are the ones that carry these emotions that we don't want to feel. And what we tend to do is we tend to push them away because we think that's what's going to get rid of them, but it's not. The way we resolve them is to feel them, is to go through them, is to become aware why they were created in the first place, is to reintegrate them. Reintegration is the end goal of healing an experience, a traumatic experience that we've had. I hope that really helped and you got a clearer understanding of what needs to be done in terms of getting to the end part of one healing experience. Now, healing is a lifelong journey. It's not like we heal one or two aspects and that's it. It's something that you're going to continuously do for the rest of your life. For example, exercise is something that we're going to continuously do. Eating healthy is something that we're going to continuously do. Healing these aspects of ourselves and the emotional wounds that we've had or may have in the future is very similar to that. It's something that you're just going to do for the rest of your life. Thank you very much for watching this video. Hopefully you managed to get something valuable out of it. Don't forget, I am working on an online course at the moment, which will be live soon, or maybe live after you've watched this video. So please go check that out. It's going to be a very, very valuable amount of tools in there for your healing journey. Thank you again, and I'll see you in the next video.